Good afternoon. For my issue that I picked at the end of James Potter's media literacy, I decided to go with advertising. The reason I went with advertising realistically is advertising is the portion of media that I have the biggest issue with. I get so frustrated looking at all these ads on TV or magazines that force you to jump from page to page. So I figured I'd read up on it a little bit more. The issues that Potter brings up are divided into three different types of criticisms: faulty criticisms, which attack the basis of the ad; personal criticisms, which is concerns that consumers have about their own personal life; and then criticisms about social versus economic responsibility. Some of the issues that fall into these different categories was problems with deceptive deceptive advertisements, subliminal advertisements, that advertisements perpetuate stereotypes. Personal criticisms were concerns about excessive advertising, the fact that advertising manipulates our needs or makes us too realistic. And then the social versus economic is just figuring out where the responsibility falls with advertisers. When we talk about alcohol and cigarettes are a great example. Like, do they have a responsibility to avoid selling them to kids, or do they have the responsibility of generating the company more money? I do think that my understanding of the issues definitely improved. For example, I did not realize that advertisers couldn't make outright lies. But this, according to the book, they can't, because they'll get fined by the FTC. But what they do engage in is what's called puffery, which basically is they make a subjective claim that they present as fact, and this claim can't be tested. So they don't lie outright. Another thing that I kind of improved my understanding on was I also thought that subliminal advertising was a real thing. But really what the book points out is that it's physically not possible. Like, they can't flash an image on a moving show and it stick in your brain the way that I thought that it could happen. But what does happen is, the advertisers do work on unconscious effects, such as, association with their product and stuff like that. Concrete steps I'm going to take. The biggest concrete steps I'm going to do is just sit down and talk with my kids. I think that they're, as the book points out, they're affected more than anybody with this kind of stuff. You can see how the manipulation of needs does happen, like especially with children. Like my son watches a commercial for a slip and slide, and all of a sudden he's going to die if he doesn't get that slip and slide. So I think that's the biggest concrete step. And then I think this information definitely affects the media literacy growth, because I guess I hate advertising a little bit less. Some of the things that I thought were true weren't true. And then really it points out that advertisers work for their company. Like, they have a responsibility to raise money for that company. And I never really thought about it like that. I always thought of advertisers as the dirty, evil ones, but it's true. So I think that this information is going to help me kind of judge whether or not an advertisement is good or bad by kind of putting it in the right frame of mind.